So what else then, Tony? I love you. I don't stop being yourself and being a contrarian and stirring things up on the internet. What else are you looking forward to in the new year? What are your predictions? Do you have any?
I don't have any predictions. I'm hoping for a hot summer, and I think that's a fairly safe prediction. I don't know anymore. Do you know what I mean? The world has just been turned on its head. I mean, I kind of got, I know the kids like to say red pilled, don't they? I kind of got red pilled with the whole WHO and COVID thing, and now I just don't know what's going on anymore.
Very interesting. Do you think this is great? How many people do you think feel that way? Do you have any sense of that? Because that goes with the awakening conversation, doesn't it? I wish people would wake up, and the people who think they're awake, not woke, but awake, because that's another distinction altogether.
It's hard to know, because the problem is, and I'd be interested to see what your viewers think about this. I mean, whatever your view is on COVID, I think we'd all have to agree, wouldn't we, that there are some things that were, last year's conspiracy theory and are now this year's truth, right?
Yes.
Whatever your views are, I think we've all seen that in the last few years. But there's still a problem where, for example, having a certain view about vaccines, you're on the same road where the guy who thinks the moon landings were fake lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you keep going down that road. So this is also a problem I have, is quite a lot of people I speak to, and none of them watch this show, so I'm not talking about you guys if you're watching this show, but I have some friends that I speak to, and you can have a conversation about, say, COVID, and the next thing you know, you're having a conversation about
digital banking.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, you can get into some real conspiracy stuff, and that's almost the I don't like that either.
Yeah, I get you.
The lizard people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes there, doesn't it?
And it works both ways, doesn't it? Because I agree with you. It's awkward and unfortunate to suddenly be grouped with other people, because you have a Venn diagram of some overlapping circle. But at the same time, it was so infuriating to be seen like that by a third party, isn't it? Is to have your view as valid as it might be, or have come to be in recent times, discredited and trashed because of that. Just because
there's no apology. There's no apology. No one's come out and said, "Oh, sorry about that," including some of my family members.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of the pandemic, for example, and I stand by it, I made the decision not to take the vaccine, let's say.
Yeah.
And I don't think the vaccine was a fake. I don't think that it was didn't work for anyone. I think it did work for some people. So I have a kind of what I consider to be a complex view on it.
How dare you?
Yeah. I mean, you use Twitter, don't you, just to give a less sort of kind of important or sort of example. I saw today on Twitter a lot of people are showing Melania Trump, who is Donald Trump's wife, I suppose, and they were showing her Christmas decorations in the White House and contrasting them with Jill Biden's Christmas decorations in the White House, and you're supposed to pick a side, And I said, well, I like both, and I really do, because Melania Trump's quite traditional, which I like, and then Jill Biden had some tap dancers doing a rendition of the Nutcracker, which is everybody knows that. And I said, well, I think both were really cool. And oh my God, don't say that.
You can't do that, can you? How could you? How could you not be polar on an issue, Tony? You of all people.
So this is what's happened to a contrarian.
Yes.
Now, when you're a contrarian, that means that you like both sides. You take a bit of both sides and like them. And it used to be being a contrarian used to be taking like the opposite side of the trend and trying to go with that, didn't it?
Life has become much more difficult for contrarians.
Yeah, now contrarians are centrists. You know what I mean? This is what's happened.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, it must be really frustrating for you to find yourself in that predicament.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, now that everyone hates me now. Everyone hates me.
Even other contrarians, because you're
even other contrarians. Yeah.
Oh dear. We've got some feedback for you. I enjoyed the Portuguese YouTube channel. Nice short videos and interesting, entertaining. He certainly is. Yeah, not to be confused with British Dave in Portugal, another entry into the YouTube market just recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What does it mean when a little ray of sunshine causes he's a vampire, I guess. Is that what?
Yeah, it's something that happens. It's interesting, isn't it? I could probably set my clock by this or know the seasons or something. There's just a little gap.
Sundial.
There's a little. Where's my finger gone? He's in the rain now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
There's just a little gap up there at a certain time of the day.
Well, just don't have any garlic. Don't have garlic bread after all. I'm a bit worried about you. And don't look in the mirror.
Well, you told me earlier to have garlic bread, so now I'm confused.
With 1 minute to go, I think it's probably safer to ask you about things within your own experience rather than ask you to speculate, because that could get us in a lot of trouble. And one of the interesting points this morning was this idea of escaping the crap. And what I would ask you for 2024, do you think Portugal? Because I came here on that basis, I would think. I did imagine myself to be living in the countryside, not far from you, actually, when I first came to Portugal. And things changed. It's still an approach and mindset I have a lot of sympathy with, that people feel not so comfortable in their country of origin. They see that it might be possible in Portugal. Let's shorthand it to escape the crap and go and live a quieter, more peaceful existence. How's that looking for now and for the future since you first started out on this? And would you recommend it to anyone else who's thinking of doing that?
Well, I would highly recommend it to anyone else. And I would also say that you could really take a leaf out of the book of the Portuguese and enjoy a long lunch, I think this is, no, really. I mean, I've taken the mick a bit out of this quite a lot. But the reality is take a long lunch, and I guess for Portuguese people, for at least an hour and a half every day, they're living in the moment. I mean, when you see Portuguese people enjoying lunch, there's nothing else but the lunch, right?
Absolutely right.
You know what I mean? I think it's a kind of a meditation, kind of a daily meditation. It's just taking the time out. They just don't have. There's not a care in the world,
Foodfulness.
I think that's that foodfulness. Yes. Foodfulness, yeah. So I think we could take a leaf out of their book there. Yeah.
Okay. And no regrets. Still a great place to come. I mean, because this is, whilst a lot of people, obviously, and the sort of mainstream media, if there is a niche of that for people moving to Portugal, it is dominated by the NHR, tax, and more financial matters. This is the niche within that niche, isn't it? Of people moving here to get off the grid mentally and physically. You still believe it to be a good place to do that?
Well, I do, and I think I probably don't have time to go into it too much. But if you watch plug my YouTube channel, but I'm going to make a video about this later as a kind of a response to this idea of people leaving because they might have to pay some tax. Because see, I think, for example, for a single person in Portugal, you could live here for €500 a month. Mm-hmm. I really don't think you need much money here. I mean, I was kind of joking about myself. We're not eating pizza every day, but we are spending, because I'm able to watch the budget myself, and I notice we are spending less than €10 a day on food. So when I see people saying their grocery budget, and we are not frugal. I mean, I don't go to Lidl and think what I'm buying,
Yeah.
Same as the electricity. I don't walk around the house switching lights off. I mean, I do try to switch lights off when I'm on the room.
Yeah.
But what I mean is we're not sort of like hot on being frugal. Our electric bill's like €40. Our food bill must be something like €300 or €400 for three of us at the moment, and maybe 600 when we're all here. Yeah. So what I mean is, I don't think you have to live like that. I think you could come here and live on a shoestring.
Yeah. Thank you for that. No, I think I'm so glad I asked you and got that perspective from you. That will be reassuring to some people. Perhaps those people who have had their Wizard of Oz moment and they have had their oligarchical veil lifted.
Yeah.
Which you could do retreats for that, can you? In the countryside there. Come and have your oligarchical veil lifted by the Portuguese. Big hug to the Portuguese there from Orico. Look, you got some Portuguese validation there. Thanks, Orico, for being here. Thanks, everybody. We're 3 minutes past 10. I'm sure you've got other things to do, Tony. We'll finish again with the words of Philippe Stark, and I thank you for being here. We'll be with Siobhan, Sarah, and Coach Turner in the morning for some Feel Good Friday action. Portuguese, keep up the great work, mate. Take care.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. See ya.
Bom fim de semana.
Serra que olha para o mundo, para as árvores. j'ai découvert le Portugal. J'ai découvert le Portugal où j'ai trouvé la dernière espèce humaine qui avait gardé des valeurs humaines. Où là, il y a encore de l'honnêteté, de l'amitié, de la tendresse, de la vérité. Et j'ai trouvé l'endroit où on peut vivre en harmonie avec les autres. On peut dire même, on peut vivre dans l'amour.